Alright guys, so this is Dr. Khan. Today we will talk about the benefits of possibly taking your medications in the evening. Now I'm going to talk about all the research studies that have been done on this so we can have a broader idea and understanding in what we should be doing. Now nobody has a problem with maintaining a lower blood pressure, let's say systolic less than 120 and a diastolic less than 80. Ideally 120 by 80 is a good number. Try not to go beyond that. But what to do about morning dosing or evening dosing? Historically, most medications, blood pressure medications, have been taken in the morning, but few things to keep in mind. Most of the current medication are long-acting, such as lisinopril or amlodipine. There are shorter-acting medications such as hydralazine or clonidine, which you do space out evenly throughout the day. And this may not even be a controversy because the long-acting medications do last approximately 24 hours and there is no significant peak and downfall in these medications, especially if you have been taking them over a few weeks already and your steady state of these medication levels have been already established. But the last 2 years or so, there has been a huge debate because there was a study which showed marked reduction in all-cause mortality, marked reduction in stroke when you take your pills, most of them if possible in the evening. So this is the debate that had been going on. Now one group says that, hey, try to take your long-acting medication before you go to bed. The others say, hey, it really doesn't make any difference. Now it has been known that there are certain peoples who can be labeled as dippers and other peoples who can be labeled as non-dippers, meaning normally your blood pressure does seem to rise during the daytime. That is natural and it is supposed to fall at night. But the non-dippers, actually their blood pressures do not fall and their high blood pressure at night could be problematic. So this is a cause of concern, certainly. But the proponents of nighttime blood pressure medication, they say, hey, there are so many non-dippers out there that you should be taking your medication at night. Now one thing we do have to state here is that there has been no actual proven benefit of taking your medication early in the morning. That is just how it has been done, but this new research has been coming out saying that, hey, it may be important to actually take them at night. Now there are a couple of trials that I will be talking about. One is the HOPE trial, the HOPE trial. This suggested that it is better to actually take your medication at night. Now then in 2011, there was a Cochrane review which basically looked at randomized controlled trials, meaning one group gets this and the other groups gets this, and then you compare what is the outcome. And researchers don't know who is in which group, so they're blinded, they don't know what is happening, they only look at the data. So that is a good trial. And they actually saw that there was a small reduction in nighttime dosing. Now that was a small reduction. They said it was not awfully significant. It was not that great of a result that you should be actually taking your blood pressure medications at night. But there was some difference that they did note over there. Now there were other trials. For example, in 2016 there was a COSA trial, CHOSA trial, and then in 2018 there was a Harmony trial which did not show much benefit, which were not able to come to a conclusion if you should take your medication in the morning or should you take your long-acting medication in the evening. But there was a problem with these trials. They only looked at measurements of blood pressure in the office, and if you have been following me, you know that I don't like office measurements, and unfortunately most of the times office measurements are what people or what doctors and patients look at when deciding their blood pressure medication. But the best way is actually to check your blood pressure multiple times a day, or something called ambulatory blood pressure monitoring, and those are specific devices that keep on checking your blood pressure routinely, like every couple of minutes, every half an hour. So ambulatory blood pressure monitoring is actually the gold standard in checking what your blood pressure is actually. Now there was a surprising trial called the HYGIA, HYGIA chronological trial. They looked at exactly whether you should be taking your blood pressure pills in the morning or whether you should be taking your blood pressure pills in the evening time. And they had around 19,000 patients that they followed over 6 years, and they gave them ambulatory blood pressure monitoring devices and they checked their findings based on this. Now the results of this HYGIA trial were startling. Basically, it reduced your heart disease mortality, it reduced your stroke risk, ischemic as well as bleeding in the brain type of stroke. it reduced all-cause mortality by half. All of these parameters of morbidity and death went down by half. Now this was if you were taking your pills at night. If you were taking your long-acting pills at night, all of these mortality risks actually went down to half. But this is too good to be true, and whenever something is too good to be true, there are questions. A lot of researchers said that, hey, we do not actually know, the article was published, but we do not actually know exactly how they did this. How did they come to these conclusions? Because these researchers did not provide all the details. Now that is certainly a problem. That's one problem. And the researchers did not fully disclose how their data was collected. That is another huge problem. Another problem with this trial was they showed that there was great compliance, that people took the medications properly and there was no drop-off. Normally with studies such as this or long-lasting studies, people fall off the study, they move away, they stop responding, they stop picking up their phones, they stop providing data. But in this study, people were all good. They were mainly or largely or most of them were very good respondents. Now this raises questions. One thought is, and the authors of the study actually said that, hey, they had a strict protocol and the patients were keeping their medications next to their bed so they will not forget, and they were monitoring all of this and they did this very diligently. So that's what they do to support their study, but still it does raise a few question marks there. But with all of this said, let's try to come to some type of a conclusion. One conclusion that we can draw from this is that, hey, if you are taking 2 or 3 blood pressure medication, okay, take one of them, one of the long-acting medications in the morning, and take the other long-acting medications in the evening if you're taking 2 pills. So divide it up this way. Of course, check with your physician first, because there could be other variables involved in your particular situation. The other thought is that, hey, it may not be such a big difference, and although this study and some other few studies are suggesting there is a big difference, physiologically, like I mentioned at the start of this video, that, hey, these long-acting medications are known to last long, and they do start to take effect after a week or so, their maximum effect. It does start to happen after a week or so. So there is a steady state established. So it may not be such a drastic benefit that this HYGEA study has been claiming. But if there is some study, then do try to move some of your pills or some of your long-acting pill or one of your long-acting pill towards the night before you go to bed. So the good news is that there are more trials coming up that specifically look at this, and there's going to be much more transparency around this topic of whether you should be taking your blood pressure medication in the morning or should you be taking your blood pressure medication in the evening. Now there are 2 trials that I know of. One is a Canadian trial called BEDMED, that is a good name, and then there is a UK trial in the United Kingdom called TIME trial. So hopefully when we have the results of these trials, then we can put this matter to bed, and pun intended. Let me know what do you think. Has your doctor, based on this controversy that has been happening for the last year or 2, actually moved some of your medication to the evening time? Let me know in the comments below. Has that had any beneficial effect for you? Let me know in the comments below. And where are you watching this video from? I love to know where is my audience. Let me know in the comments below. I will look to reply to each of your comments. And if you really want to work on your blood pressure, I have a detailed course which I call the Blood Pressure Boss course. It will get you the knowledge that you need to correct your blood pressure. It goes over aspects of the physiology of blood pressure as well as natural treatments and supplements and exercises, all of this without medication. And you can start doing this right now and today because it is readily available. And if you are taking medication, it goes over the uses, the most common side effects that you should know about. You have the whole course. So the good thing about this is you have the whole course available to yourselves. You can watch it whenever you want. It is also so economical that everybody can afford it, and it is the same price as a regular dinner outing. Although I feel that the value you will get is truly priceless, it will get you in the mood to fix your blood pressure. That's the real benefit in my opinion, and you will take your health seriously and give yourself the motivation that you need. I also have motivational videos in that course. Thank you so much. Talk to you guys soon.